And James O.D. did a beautiful job drafting this Declaration of Commitment to Indigenous Peoples. And do you mind if I say that it began, and we were calling it a declaration of apology, but it actually moved in the right way, I feel, to become a declaration of commitment to Indigenous peoples, which is a far more powerful document, and you'll see that in a moment. When the Declaration is read, we want to ask all the people who identify themselves as Indigenous peoples to come to hear it, and we will ceremoniously offer it to the people. This man, James O.D., he is a beautiful soul. I mean, he's a person who has been in war-torn regions, who has seen great suffering, and has learned how to move through that and to find joy and laughter. His beautiful new book called Cultivating Peace begins that way. He's been the president of IONS, and before that he was the executive director of Amnesty International and also SEVA. So he comes with so many gifts in working to serve the people. He's been in service for a very long time.
Thank you. I'm an Irish citizen, who lives with some permission, I guess, I don't know from whom, in this country. My youngest son was asked by his little friend when he was about 4 years old, "What does your father do?" And he said, "My father is president of the aliens." We have arrived. Right. So actually, not long after I came to the States, my sons were very young. We were going south and we stopped at a little camping site. They went to the washrooms and were washing. And I saw a very gentle, elderly man. And I thought to myself, this man is an Indigenous elder of some kind. I went up and I asked him, "Are you a Native American?" He said, "Yes." And I called my 3 sons over and I said, "Boys, this man is a representative of the first peoples of this land. You should always respect them. You should always respect these people." And then they washed and went to bed. And in the morning, the elder and his son came to our tent with gifts. And it shattered my heart. It really opened me wide, because I thought, this is both the gift and the wound being represented here. That I was doing what any father in the United States of America should do, and say, honor and respect your Indigenous elders, your Indigenous peoples. And that experience brought forth these gifts. And I felt both, as I said, the gift and the wound of those who had not been respected, and who, for just a random person offering to teach his children respect, it brought out so much feeling, so much tenderness. So after that, I dedicated to do some more work on Indigenous people. Honoring the spirituality is great, but if you do not do that legwork, that human homework of connecting, where are these people, what do they need, how do I help them? Native American college funds, health funds, lots of ways to express that commitment. So what we're putting together in this declaration of commitment is that commitment. This is not a statement to governments. Guess why? Right? This is a declaration of commitment from us to us. We have been missing in our responsibility to each other, and we are going to correct it. These are the times to correct those errors. It's the lack of respect. It's the diminution of your culture. It's the raiding of your culture. And indigenous peoples the world over have experienced this kind of raiding of their land, of their traditions. So I ask you, we're going to be sending out this statement of commitment, this declaration of commitment, through the United Nations system, through the world system, where we're asking 1 million people on the planet, 1 million people like you and me, to sign this declaration and to honor it, to begin to enact that statement of commitment and responsibility.
We'd like to invite all of the indigenous people, native people, to stand here around in a circle to be part of this declaration ceremony.
Doesn't take as long to read as it looks. Declaration of Commitment to Indigenous Peoples. Humanity faces a time in our evolving story when we must harp our deepest collective wisdom in order to survive and even thrive as a healthy, peaceful, and sustainable planetary civilization. In the course of humanity's journey, we have many great achievements to celebrate and honor, but we have to acknowledge what has been misguided, damaging to each other, and harmful to all life. It is time for healing and a new beginning. Great skill is now needed to reconnect the bonds of our collective interdependence on behalf of all of Earth's diverse peoples and cultures, and to restore an original contract with our planet's ecosystem and its intricate design for all life. We cannot evolve skillfully at this vital juncture in our collective story if we fail to integrate the teachings of our wisdom keepers. Both reason and conscience require that the precious wisdom of Earth's indigenous peoples be fully acknowledged. Their skillful ways of living in harmony with nature and its laws have too often been marginalized and ignored. Humanity has paid a great price for destructive actions committed against indigenous peoples. In the name of religion, profit, and progress, some of humanity's greatest knowledge about the interrelationship of all life forms has been placed in jeopardy. Increasing numbers of people now recognize the importance of supporting the transmission of this essential wisdom. It is in this spirit of deep recognition and appreciation for the value of indigenous wisdom that we, the signatories to this declaration, hereby proclaim our commitment to the following. Apology is due to indigenous peoples for the suppression and the violation of their cultures and ways of being. We invite communities, institutions, local authorities, and even governments to formally and informally offer sincere apology for past actions that resulted in cultural oppression and denigration. Responsibility for past violations, wounding, and discrimination must be expressed in truthful historical narratives and educational materials. We recommend the formation of local and national initiatives to take responsibility for the past and explore the nature of indigenous wisdom. We encourage support for the production of a wide array of accessible media and curricular materials to set the record straight and ensure the accurate and appropriate transmission of native wisdom teachings. Reconciliation must be sought so that healing may occur between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. We call on representatives of public and private institutions to seek ways to engage in meaningful acts and processes of reconciliation through ceremony, presentations, and gatherings. Collaboration in mutual contexts relating to health, environment, sustainable economies, and educational opportunities will constitute an essential dimension of expressing sincere apology, acknowledging responsibility, and fostering reconciliation. To these ends, we encourage collaboration with Indigenous communities and institutions to optimize our collective learning and healing in this pivotal time for all humanity. We, the undersigned, everyone at this conference, please pledges our commitment to these ideals and the promotion of concrete actions to support respect for Indigenous peoples, a shared partnership for life on Earth, and the transmission of our collective wisdom.
Because we are divine blessed beings, people. Sure.